I'm not a career politician, but I have managed budgets before. I have managed economies before. I have managed crises.
Major breaking news this hour. President Donald Trump says he is ending trade discussions with Canada effective immediately.
CommonSenseLoonie, that's my tune, bringing truth to the red and white moon.
Personally, I am a man.
The tech tax, news bill, and Carney's trade train wreck. Hey folks, welcome back to CommonSenseLoonie. I'm Rex, here to unpack the latest Canadian lunacy. Today we're diving into a wild mess that's had the US fuming, our wallets trembling, and now a last-minute twist that proves Canada's leadership is a clown show. It's about two laws meant to help Canada but backfiring hard, a trade war with President Donald Trump, and why I don't trust Prime Minister Mark Carney one bit. Buckle up, this one's a roller coaster. What's your first take on this chaos? Drop a comment below. Trump's trade bombshell. On June 27th, 2025, Trump shook up Canada with a Truth Social post. We have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, including the fact they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products, has just announced that they are putting a digital services tax on our American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. They are copying the European Union, which also grossly and unfairly taxes our great companies. And we are in discussions with them to either take that tax down or to put tariffs on their products, which will produce far more than their taxes produce from our companies. Based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada, effective immediately. We will let Canada know the tariff that they will be paying to do business with the United States of America within the next 7-day period. Boom, Trump's done with trade talks, slamming Canada's Digital Services Tax Act, the DSTA, a 3% tax on US tech giants like Google, Meta, and Amazon for revenue from Canadians online. At the White House, Trump doubled down.
I guess they could remove it. They will, but I don't really, it doesn't matter to me. We have all the cards. It's not going to work out well for Canada. They were foolish to do it.
Canadian business mogul Kevin O'Leary, a Shark Tank investor and entrepreneur worth over $400 million, tore into the DSTA on Fox Business, calling it a failure pushed by the previous Liberal government under Justin Trudeau, who he dubbed the Idiot King.
You know, this policy actually was introduced by the previous administration in Canada, the Idiot King, Justin Trudeau. It was bad policy then, and it's bad policy now.
O'Leary argued the tax won't work, saying it alienates U.S. tech giants driving the global economy and risks Canada's trade future. Here's the kicker. Mark Carney, our Prime Minister, advised Trudeau on this tax in 2021 as a top economic strategist. Now he's doubling down, and Trump's threatening tariffs by July 4th that could spike prices on gas, groceries, and cars. Carney bragged at the G7 in Alberta on June 16th about sealing a trade deal by July 16th, but he's got zilch. Is Carney botching this fight? Comment below. Now, let's rewind and see how we got here. Warnings ignored, chaos unleashed. Canada ignored huge red flags. The Canadian Chamber of Commerce warned as far back as September 2023 that DSTA could spark a trade war, risking our $412 billion in U.S. exports. Retired financial pro John Morelli slammed it in June 2025, saying Canada's taxing U.S. tech because we lack our own giants. Bill C-18 was another mess. Blacklock's reporter warned on X in 2023 that tech might just ditch news. Meta did, blocking all news on Facebook and Instagram in Canada since August 1st, 2023, gutting 40% of Canadian news access. Google paid $100 million yearly to avoid the same, but the Chamber of Business Council of Canada begged for a rethink. Trudeau's team, with Carney's backing, ignored it all. Why do you think they blew off these warnings? Comment below. Carney's trade war flop. Carney ran his 2025 campaign as the guy to outsmart Trump. Spoiler, he's flopping. Here's why. March 13th, 2025. After Trump's trade threats, Carney slapped 25% tariffs on U.S. steel. That's $12.6 billion. And aluminum at $3 billion. Looking tough. But by early April, he quietly slashed those tariffs to near zero, misleading voters during the election and seemingly chickening out or caving. By May 6, at a White House meeting, Trump trashed Trudeau's trade policies. Carney stood next to him, mute, letting Trump steamroll him. June 16th, at the G7, Trump mocked Carney's pet projects like the Net Zero Banking Alliance. The Trump team warned Carney about the upcoming digital service tax, saying it was unfair to America. Minister of Finance, Francois-Philippe Champagne, stated that other countries had enacted similar taxes and it would stay in place. Not exactly the best way to start off trade talks. Fast forward to June 28th, Trump posts on Truth Social that he will be ending all trade talks with Canada due to this tax. What would the master trade negotiator of Canada, Mark Carney, do? Surely he would solve this problem like the many crises he's solved before.
Very simple. Prime Minister Carney in Canada caved to President Trump in the United States of America.
Canada caves. Carney still clueless. Hold the phone, breaking news. On June 29th, 2025, Canada caved. In a dizzying 24 hours, Trump's threat to squash trade talks with Canada over the digital services tax sent the Liberals into a tailspin. Global onlookers didn't know whether to laugh or cringe, branding Canada's retreat as spineless and openly questioning whether Carney could even share a negotiating table with Trump without folding like a cheap lawn chair. Carney, ever the slick operator, spun this into a masterstroke, claiming the tax's rise and fall was all part of some grand liberal chess game.
Did you get anything in exchange for?
We have, to be clear, it's part of a bigger negotiation. It's something that we expected in the broader sense that would be part of a final deal. We're making progress towards a final deal. There's more to be done, to be clear.
Really? What was the plan? Poke the bear? Get roared at, then scurry away? The DST was widely seen as a jab at America tech giants, and Trump's warning was as subtle as a sledgehammer. Canada's response? Dish the tax and call it a strategy. America walks away DST free, and Canada gets... what? A pat on the head for compliance? Is this Carney's art of the deal? It's more like finger painting. The Liberals' bravado has evaporated, and Carney's already looking like he's brought a butter knife to a gunfight. With Trump looming, Canada's trade prospects feel less like a negotiation and more like a surrender in progress. One thing's clear, when the pressure's on, it's not Trump who's blinking. Money lost, news gutted, taxpayers screwed. Did the DST and Bill C-18 help Canada? Nope. They were a disaster, even before the DST repeal. Bill C-18. Google pays $100 million a year to newsrooms, but Meta's news blog / news site traffic 20 to 30%, costing $200 to $300 million a year. Taxpayers fund $40 million a year in journalist bailouts via the Journalism Labor Tax Credit, handing $21,250 per journalist to prop up big media like CBC. Total costs, $240 to $340 million a year, with only $100 million from Google, leaving a $140 to $240 million net loss. Then we got the DST damage, which is still ongoing. It was set to raise $1.4 billion a year, but U.S. firms would pass the cost to us. Google's 2.5% ad surcharge, Amazon's 3% fee. Trump's tariff threats could have tanked our $412 billion in exports, spiking prices. Not to mention the damage it did to Canada's reputation and negotiating power with the U.S. C-18's killing news, and the DST was a trade war spark until Canada blinked. Are these laws worth the cost? Why news clings to taxpayer cash? Why don't news outlets compete like businesses? CBC gets $1.2 billion a year in taxes but churns out dull content, losing to tech's ad grip. Creators like Brian Lilly thrive on YouTube with bold takes, no handouts needed. News could use TikTok or podcasts, but begs for bailouts instead. Why should taxpayers fund failing newsrooms while small businesses get nothing? It's a ripoff. What's your stance on media subsidies? Let us know. The big, ugly picture. Canada tried to hit U.S. tech with the DST and C-18, but it's a dumpster fire. The DST sparked a trade war, forcing Canada to quickly cave under Trump's pressure. C-18 gutted newsrooms, and taxpayers are stuck with the bill. Carney's flopping, proving he's no trade savior. And that's the tale of Canada's tech tax, news bill, and Carney's trade train wreck. The DST, a sneaky cash grab I always doubted, sparked a trade war until Canada scrapped it on June 29th to resume talks with Trump, something Carney should have done at the G7. Bill C-18 crushed newsrooms, costing $140 to $240 million more than it gained. Taxpayers fund media bailouts while Carney's weak leadership lets Trump run the show. Kevin O'Leary called the DST a dud from the Idiot King, and Trump's betting he's won. Should news innovate instead of begging for cash? Should Carney have caved sooner? Comment below. Thanks for watching CommonSenseLoonie. Like, subscribe, and stay sharp, stay skeptical, and stay loony.
I'm here to cut through the haze, no disguise. Gonna open your eyes to politicians' lies. Canada's great, but led by wackos, it's true. Time for no nonsense, me and you. I'm the CommonSenseLoonie, hear my call. Ditch bingo night games, we'll fix it all. CommonSenseLoonie, that's my tune. Bringing truth to the red and white moon.
Personally, I am a man.